Yo, what's good YouTube? I'm back with another reaction video, and they tell a Larry Bird story. I know y'all like these stories and these interviews, so I'm definitely gotta do some more of these. But yeah, shout out to all of y'all. Appreciate all the love and support. We're gonna keep going, we're gonna keep grinding. We're gonna get straight to the video, and then keep it short and sweet. Subscribe if you're new. Hit that like button, and let's get it popping, man. Let's get it straight into it. They tell a Larry Bird story. Let's see what this is hitting for. Shout out to All Basketball TV. Let's get it.
I remember going to Boston Garden for the first time. I couldn't wait to see it, walk on that floor. And I got there three and a half hours before game time. And the lights weren't even on the court. But I heard a ball bouncing as I was walking through the corridor. And look who's here 3.5 hours before the game begins. An hour before anyone else would even be in the building other than the popcorn bin. In 1975, Larry Bird arrived at Indiana State, ready to play ball, but he would have to sit out that season as a transfer.
He could practice, and our first five couldn't beat him. Coach King said, "Larry, I've got to do something to let the first five win once in a while. They can't win as long as you're in there." And, you know, Larry kind of smirked, and he said, "Well, just let them take their beating like a man."
He had a mind that was like a camera. He had the best hand-eye coordination, maybe, of anybody that ever played basketball.
In his junior season, Bird led Indiana State to a 23-9 record. Celtics general manager Red Auerbach selected him with the 6th pick in the NBA draft.
I said to Red, Red, why would you draft this guy, Bird, and you know he's not going to play for this season? And he looked at me and he said, "Do you know how short a period of time a year is?"
Bird's national recognition carried on the following year. He graced the cover of Sports Illustrated, while he carried the #1 ranked 33-0 Sycamores into the NCAA Finals against Michigan State and his future nemesis.
Magic couldn't wait to give you the best smile and say, "How are you?" make you feel good. Larry Bird would rather say, you don't even say hi to me. I'd rather not get involved with this.
I did not like Larry Bird. He didn't like me. Not because, you know, something happened, but because we were both going after the same thing.
They'll always be linked, won't they? And that's part of the beauty of sports. From that '79 NCAA championship, it's pretty hard to say Larry Bird without thinking of Magic Johnson.
June 8, 1979, Bird lands in Boston and signs the NBA's richest rookie contract ever. 5 years at $3.25 million. To Celtic fans, he's a bargain at any price.
This was a white superstar in a world that was dominated by black superstars. And so we know why a lot of people liked him.
Man, I understand what they're saying, but it could be dominated by anybody, man. And that's just how I feel. Some people look at things different, but I look at it like, man, if you can play, you can play, man. It doesn't matter, none of that. And y'all already know how I said in one of my videos before, like, none of that matters, man. If you can ball and you can play, you can play. Like, come on, man.
Athletically, it turned around when we drafted Larry Bird. Here he came, quote-unquote, the savior. So happened this guy's white, and East Boston, South Boston, people could relate to him. And, you know, Larry Bird is a great white hope.
The racial component of that was so powerful. Bird was the first great white ball player in a number of years. You know, playing for Boston, a town which had a terrible reputation for racial relations going back to the busing crisis of the 70s.
And here he was out there with a quarter of black guys out there talking trash with him, and the rest of the fellas are sitting there going, "Hey, the boy bad, what can you say?" You know, and
thank you. That's what I'm saying. If you can ball, you can ball. That's it. If you can play ball, you can play ball. And all that other stuff is out the window. Like, and sometimes I guess you gotta prove people wrong too, but it's like all that other stuff, man, get out of here, man. It's out the window, bro. That's out the window. If you could shoot, you could ball like them, you could play, you can play, bro. Like, get all that other stuff out of here, man.
And I think what America saw in this guy was somebody who really didn't see race.
You get your kind of identity from, you know, your superstar.
Larry. And Larry was a beer-drinking, lunch bucket type of player.
He was in a fight during the playoffs in a bar in Boston, and he was interviewed later, and people said, well, what does this mean, Larry? He says, it means that ordinary people shouldn't think of me as a hero.
Bird fights Kareem, slings the elbow, and now is yelling at Larry Bird.
You could never back down, because once you do, people look at you different. You had to stand up for everything you believed in, and even if it's on playing basketball, if somebody took the gloves off and wanted to go, you had to go. If you didn't, there's no use playing.
Larry was the originator of getting in your face and talking trash. And then you sit there and you go, this guy up in my face talking noise. He ain't that fast, he's slow. But he knew how to aggravate you, agitate you enough to get you out of your game.
Larry Bird is no hick, believe me. But you could stick straw between his teeth, and he could play the role, and he could convince a lot of mid-America that he was their boy.
You have to kind of separate what he's saying sometimes, because he can take people where he wants them. You know, he enjoys that.
The media begs off with Larry because they're very afraid of him. They're afraid to somehow or another infuriate him. They're afraid to ask the tough questions. He somehow or another has that way of intimidating the media as he intimidated players.
We had a three-point contest at the All-Star break, and Larry walks in and says, I hope all you guys in here are thinking about second place because I'm winning this.
Drop one here quickly.
Excuse me? And he started shooting, and he just didn't miss.
I remember going to Boston Garden for the first time. I couldn't wait to see it, walk on that floor. And I got there 3.5 hours before game time. And the lights weren't even on the court. But I heard a ball bouncing as I was walking through the corridor. And look who's here 3.5 hours before the game begins, an hour before anyone else would even be in the building other than the popcorn vendor, but Larry Bird.
Larry Bird has always been afraid of failing. And what did that make him do? It made him work harder than anybody else. You know, they talk about Larry Bird practicing in the rain. Larry Bird practicing out by himself all the time, before games, after games. And I think that's the ethic that he brought from that small town environment.
He knew the janitors and the equipment guys, and those were his guys more than the high roller luxury box guys. He doesn't like phonies, sniffs them out right away.
It's over. The Boston Celtics have won the World Championship in 1981. It's all over.
It's been a great honor to be out here. There's only one place I'd rather be, French Lick.
I'd much rather guard Michael Jordan than Larry Bird, because you have to play the game as a thinker when you're playing him. You have to get inside his mind. Larry wasn't quick, couldn't jump really high, but there was just some sleepless nights.
Bird takes the pop. It's gone. It is.
Yeah, I know some stuff I seen, but that was good. Some stuff I didn't see, some stuff I did see. But yeah, man, that man's worked hard, bro. You gotta work hard if you really want something. Like, that's really, at the end of the day, that's really, really what it is. Like, on top of your skills and your talent and everything, but no matter what, like, you work hard, you fight and push through anything, man. For real. But yeah, man, I know I keep it short and sweet. On to the next video. Appreciate all love and support. Y'all send me some videos you want me to do. I definitely got some more documentaries coming. Definitely got some more I got some full games in the mix coming very soon. And yeah, that's about it, man. Let me know if there's any other players y'all want me to do. I seen some of y'all say y'all wanted me to do forget his name. Dennis Johnson, that's what I'm trying to say. I definitely got a video of him coming out too. Definitely is about to be in the works. So yeah, man, that's about it. But on to the next video. Appreciate all of the support, and I'm out. Peace.